Is socialism good as an economic model? Hi, in this video, I'm gonna give 4 arguments to see if socialism is a good economic model. And let me know down in the comments what you think. Argument 1. Individuals owns personal property. In an economic model based on socialism, the individuals owns their own property rather than the government owning all of it. In combination with that, there is also subsidized housing, so the poor people can live luxuriously, which is paid by the people who pay the most amount of taxes, i.e., the middle class and the upper class. The poor have to pay very little for it, comparatively speaking, and therefore there is a little bit more autonomy for the people in the country on an economic standpoint. Whether you want to live by a lake or by a river or in the city, you can sort of choose to live in what and where, compared to living in a blockhouse that only the government owns and where you are basically forced to live. Argument 2. Government owns some companies. From the perspective of socialism compared to communism, socialism allows individuals to own and start companies, and at the same time, the state/government own some companies themselves that are, of course, essential to the country's function. And you can either be hired to work for the government directly or indirectly. And if you work for the government, your wage is stable, so you don't have to worry about how much money you're going to make that year or month. So the government basically have you on a leash. A very strong leash. As I mentioned, the individuals have some form of autonomy where they have some freedom to do as they please. But, and it's a big but, is that they of course have to do exactly what the government says, and they can't just create any kind of business that you want, or else the government will come for you one way or another to put you in your place. Argument 3. Government's involvement in the economy. In the economic system based on socialism, the government is involved a little bit less than compared to communism in the economy, and there is a sort of free market that more or less is involved with how the country's economy goes. But it's basically only allowed by the government to exist. It's not there naturally, and you get taxed if you do too much with the economy that the government doesn't like. Argument 4. Little lower taxes than communism. Finally, socialism as an economic model has again some similarities with communism, and that is taxes. But it's not as high as in communism. The thinking is almost the same. For instance, the taxes are meant to be a good and stable income for the state/government, so they can then redistribute the money down to the larger society for healthcare, roads, buildings, and military. But a thing that is a little bit different within the thinking of economics in socialism is that the free/open market is sort of available for the common people, and the little lower taxes than communism gives the people in society some incentive to trade and create companies to make themselves successful economically. But a very important point is that the high taxes still makes it difficult for a lot of people to climb up the ladder of success, and makes people dependent on government to give themselves basically free money for little contribution that are in a dire position. We have some examples for socialism from the economic point of view, and we see it at work all around the world. In Venezuela, Angola, Eritrea, Mozambique, and Brazil, just to name a few. Again, same with communism. In these countries, people are poorer and less eager to start a business in those countries because of how the countries are run and who they are run by. Like communism, beware of socialism. Please write in the comments what you think, and goodbye.